Here from 2 Plus Tough, and I am just chilling out in the office, and I thought maybe we could all use a little hobby hangout. So, to put a long story short, at the top of this video, what I want to say real quickly, as you gather your hobby supplies and we all hang out together, today I was supposed to receive my advanced copy of Warcry, and I had really blocked out my entire weekend to really crank that out, and I was actually hoping on Monday to have a narrative battle report because it's so small that I can actually do those kinds of things. And I have only gotten faster at painting. And so, excuse me. And so, unfortunately, that didn't come today. I think it's just because I live in Washington, so far away from their shipping center. I never got it. So it's a real bummer. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty gutted, but I'm not going to let myself get too sad. And so, instead of being sad, I am going to do some hobby, and I hope that you join me. So that's exactly what's going to happen here. Give me 1 second just to make sure that everything is working properly. Let me see. And I will be right here. So if you are in the chat, please let me know if you can hear and see me. There's going to be some weird audio here in a split second as I make sure that everything is working. Let's see. For some reason, it's not showing me that I am live on YouTube's. Okay, all okay. Great, Will, if you can see the video, awesome. For some reason, it's not telling me that I'm live on YouTube, which is very strange. Good to go? Okay. Oh, yep, there it goes. Okay, sweet. Let me know if there's any problems. I know the last time I was live, the internet like imploded because there was I'm pretty sure it was related to an earthquake that happened earlier that day. But anyway, so yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing today. I am working on some stuff. I'll show you the downward cam here. So, things we know about Warcry, right? To get us kind of excited, in the mood, if you will. They did on their Warcry official page let us know precisely what's in all of the various factions, and that is really, really neat of them. So, for example, in Stormcast, you have the Vanguard Hunters kit, the Vanguard Raptors kit, and the Griffhounds, and the Aetherwings, which come part with the one of the dudes. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm building. I got 3 Griffhounds, and let's see what else we got. Here's 3 more, so I can have a whole squad. And over here to the right, I have 6 done Vanguard Hunters. I actually have some of the Raptors, like the sniper dudes, the crossbow and the extra, but they're like primed, so I have a little more work to do with them. But yeah, here's 6 Hunters. Actually, 3 of them are from, here we go. These 3 are from Shadespire. This is the warband from Shadespire. Now, here's the cool thing about Warcry that I'm very excited about, is using Shadespire warbands because they're cool alternate sculpts. So you got this guy with a bird on his arm, just looking all kinds of baller. The bases look great, so I'm very excited about that. So that's the Farstriders, if you're interested. And here's just 3 of my, I don't know, 10, I think, dudes. So I'm going to finish building the Griffhounds and then get them primed and then paint them and the Raptors at the same time. So that'd be cool. Now the next thing I want to show off here, as I'm kind of getting like settled in, is, I don't know if I actually showed these guys online yet, but the Bonesplitters. I went with a red war paint, and all the weapons have this kind of like heated glow. They're from Akshi, and they're looking pretty great. They're mostly contrast paint with built-up highlights, so I think that's the way to go. Contrast, and then 1 or 2 layers of highlights. Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna set that there. So yeah, out of the Bonesplitters, everything comes from the Savage Orc kit. So it's Savage Orcs, More Boys, which is the more quote-unquote elite version, Arrow Boys, and the Big Stabba. So I have these, a second Big Stab that's not painted, and I don't know how many points they're gonna be like in the game because we don't have the cards yet, but I got a whole bunch of More Boys. Unfortunately, I'm so bummed. I actually built the boxes that I had on hand all as Morboys and Big Stabbas. And so I'm kind of regretting that, because now I wish I had like 1 or 2 extra bodies to build as Arrow Boys or something like that. So that's, you know, it's what it is. I'll grab another set. So we got a whole bunch of Bonesplitters right there. And the last thing, as in the title, is Stormcast Journals, Bonesplitters, and Terrain. So I have the GameMats.eu Terrain set, and I love this set. It's super pretty. A little bit of styrofoam stuck in there. I'll clean that out. And well, here's the thing that I don't have the rules because my copy of Warcry never arrived to me, but there was a leak online and I was reading ahead. What I'm learning is that verticality, I guess is the word, is super important. Having multiple layers, things can fall, models can jump, and like the bird guys can pounce on people, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to grab my dry brush and kind of touch these things up a bit, make them look a little more fun, a little more interesting. It's such a small board, and for the narrative battle reports I want to do, it's a lot of zooming in, so I don't want it to look boring, you know what I mean? So we will work on that. I think to start off, what am I going to start with? I think I'll start just by building little Griffhounds right quick. And let's see. Give me just a moment, I'm going to step away and grab the instructions for them. Okay. Alright. Okay. Well, hello everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining me, even though I don't have my super awesome advanced copy to be able to show off and answer questions. But I'll do my best. So if you have any, go ahead and throw it in the chat for me. Let's see. Let me get my glue ready. Let's see. Sorry everybody, I know this is like super riveting to watch me kind of get my stuff together. Okay. Does anyone know the base size on Graveguard? If you Google Age of Sigmar base size guide, it's the first thing that comes up. I was just there. But no, I don't have to off the top of my head. Looks like my glue's out. That's annoying. Okay. Alright. Sorry, my glue got all kinds of jammed up. I tried this different kind of glue once, the plastic glue from a local store, and the packaging of the bottle is terrible. It is constantly getting gunked up. Okay. What would you start just for Warcry out of them all? Oh, what army would I start with them out of all? Haven't played Flesh Eater Courts, want to use them. Honestly, no one knows anything about the existing factions, right? We don't know the cards. All the thing we've been really previewed is the stuff that comes into the core set itself. So we don't actually know about anything else. I mean, we have the little like the blurb. If you go to the website today, Warhammer community page, they gave like a little blurb on each of the factions. It doesn't tell you a lot, but it's kind of a fun thing. Just kind of like, you know, if you're a new player and you have no idea what these factions are, it kind of gives you a little bit of primer. As far as what's a good one to start with, we have no idea. So I can't really answer that question yet. Let's see. What army would I start out with? If you call them about Flesh Eater Courts, though, is because it uses two kits, right? It's the Crypt Ghouls, Crypt Horrors, and Flares? Crypt Flares? Which I actually think they got wrong in their article. I think they mistyped the name. I think they said it was a Crypt Infernal, which is a hero. Anywho, but yeah, so from those, what's nice about that is that's two kits, right? You can buy two kits and kind of have everything you need to start trying different kind of army builds, and that's really nice. Let's see. Is it a bit much if one goes and gets 3 boxes of Sylvaneth? No. Oh, start collecting boxes? No. Not if you like them. And 5 and 6. Building is always my least favorite part of models, so I'm happy to have some company while I get through it. 5, 8, 6. Okay. Let's see. Do I have a favorite warband? Of the new ones they showed? For sure, without question, it's the Bird Boys. The Corvus Cabal is what they're named. And for me, it's mainly because they look very dynamic. All the poses, they're all in these kind of like leaping and swooping poses, and they look just very dodgy. And you know, one thing that I think I put a big emphasis on when I consider if I like a model, it is how do they display motion. That's actually why I like a lot of the Vanguard stuff for Stormcast over what I'll call the Gen 1, so like Liberators, Judicators, you know, that kind of stuff. Even the Dracoth, whatever, Riders, they don't look dynamic. They kind of look like they're prancing. And so I tend to not care for them very much. Like if I own them, I'll paint them. I painted Judicators. I use them because they're battle line, which is nice. But I don't see myself ever going out and buying them for that exact reason. They're just like, they just don't enthuse me. So that ramble to say that one of the things that I really do appreciate about the bird guys is they do look so dynamic and in motion and that kind of stuff. Yeah, iron golems are a little more static. I mean, that's kind of representative of their temperament and their battle style, I guess you could say. But I still prefer the more agile looking things. Let's see, this guy's rule. Kind of disappointed they didn't include sequiturs. You know, I'm kind of expecting there to be expansions for this. Like kind of how they have elites and commanders for Kill Team. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, you know, kind of include and branch out some of the stuff. For example, Bonesplitters are a part of the faction. How come we don't have Boar Riders? We do have Achillean Eel Riders, right, from Deepkin. Why not the Boar guys? So I'm sure at some point armies will get expanded upon, that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about it. Let's see. This guy is 3 and 4. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, to me, the biggest surprise of the factions they have is that there's no Duarden included. I mean, there's that one in Iron Golems, but you know what I mean? Like, it has actual, like... let's see. Okay, so... that's just somebody else's head. Never mind. We want this one. 9, 10. So yeah, no, it's sorry, I'm not the best at building models, so I'm taking a little bit of time. What's nice about the kits they did choose is they always seem to be multi-kits, so you can get a lot of value out of those things, which I think is super important. Especially, you know, like, I think Bonesplitters is the best value right now, where you can build 4 different unit types from one box, and it comes in a box of 20, so you have enough to build several. You can build, what, 2 big stabbas, and so that would bring you down to 18, and then 6 of everything else to make it equal if you wanted. Right, so 6 arrow boys, 6 more boys, 6 Bonesplitters, or, you know, the savage orcs. 8, here we go. Let's see. Alex, which warband is most intriguing to me? Of the new ones, it's definitely the Corvus Cabal, for sure. Was planning to grab some Vanguard Raptors. I saw they were sold out already. Yeah, well, I mean, they were hot stuff before. If you're just playing Stormcast, they're a darn good unit, so that doesn't surprise me. I have 3 from that big lot of stuff that I got, like my original big lot of Stormcast stuff. I was able to like get, I only got 3 Raptors, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, and they're all pre-built with the crossbows, which is generally better in AOS. But in Warcry is totally different. And actually, that's something that's very intriguing to me. Where in Kill Team, they kind of like adopted the existing war scrolls of units. Like, so like Plague Marines with their bolt guns, they're all like almost number for number, page for page, what's in the main army's rulebook, codex. So like Plague Marines and Kill Team are not vastly different from Plague Marines in 40k. As far as like their stats, their profiles, all that kind of stuff. There are some tweaks to like Disgusting Resilient because wound allocation happens a little differently in Kill Team, but that's, you know, they're fundamentally the same. Whereas in Warcry, even though they're using some existing models, like they are completely rewritten, like 100%, which gives them a lot of room to introduce new ideas to express kind of the same things. So maybe Bonesplitters, because their universal whatever special rule, if you're playing Bonesplitters Allegiance, is on a roll of a 6, you don't take any damage, and that is for wounds and mortal wounds. Like, wound rolls of a 6 are successful no matter what the rend is, and they can take mortal wounds on a 6, that kind of thing. But that doesn't translate to Warcry, so what are they going to write to make it do so? And that's kind of a fun new frontier. I like that, so it makes me excited. Let's see. I'm just catching up on the questions. Let's see. Thoughts on the warband's perceptions of the dark gods. For example, Corvus Cabal sees the Great Gatherer. I love it. As far as they're all Chaos warbands, but not necessarily inherently allegiant to any Chaos god. I love that so much I can't describe. And the reason is because when you think about like destruction armies, right? Most of them all worship Gorka Morka, but they have these like different aspects of him, right? That he's the drinker of oceans, and he's, you know, the hunter of mountains, and Bonesplitters, he's the wild spirit of the monsters inside the bones of huge beasts, and like, all these various mythos. But how come the Chaos gods wouldn't have that? You know, especially because there was a point in time, you know, in the Age of Myth, when they just simply weren't around. So, you know, they weren't known in the same way. And I just find that to be extremely interesting. That notion of, I don't understand what this is, right? You don't even have to call it by its proper, you know, quote unquote proper name. You don't have to fully understand it. You just have to embrace it. And I like that. Let's see. How many Zangors is considered too many? When your friends stop wanting to play games with you. No, as far as like just the basic Zangor, I mean, a full-size unit of those they're good, but I don't think they're crazy. Now, if you're talking about like spamming Enlightened or something like that. That gets pretty rough. Face, even Doug, hello. Still waiting for Hearthguard to come back in stock. It's been months. I did not know that. It's been... Oh yeah, I guess when they're Battletome, or at least that was kind of the thing, right? Stock up on a big block of 30 of those guys. It's nice how they... I like how they were like, we don't want this to just be a horde army. We want it to be a little bit more elite and get you to play some different stuff. And all that meant was decrease the value of the Volkites and increase the value of the Hearthguard. It's not, I mean, it's not literally what happened, but it's not far. Let's see. Real one, Jack. When I found out it didn't show up today, I Warcried. Me too. I was peek behind the curtain. I just kind of sat here in silence for quite a while, just like feeling very defeated. I really did plan my entire weekend around this, around building factions and painting and hanging out with the guys from Rerolling Ones, and it was a beautiful plan, and now it is nothing. Let's see. Let me catch up where I was on the chat. Chaos Undivided used to be a thing. It is. Well, it's technically a thing. They just don't have any rule support, which is a bummer. And that's always been, like, I used to have quite a nice Slaves to Darkness army. I sold it off because I wanted to repaint it. And I was like, well, I mean, if nothing else, I can spend the money to buy models to repaint. But yeah, there's no real support. I mean, there's Slaves to Darkness rules in the GHB, but they've always been pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie to you. They need like a prayer and or spell lore and that kind of stuff to kind of make them a thing. The almost Sunday, Saturday release. I love it. What am I building? I am building 3 Gryph-hounds that came in the Vanguard Start Collecting box for Stormcast. And then over here are the 3 that I got from you, sir. And so I forgot I had them, and I didn't realize they were going to be part of Warcry Kill Team. Of Warcry Warbands. So yeah. And now they are built, and I am done building, which is great, because I suck at building and trying to read comments at the same time. Alright, got that there. I'm excited to go pre-order my cards for these 2. So yeah, I got Stormcast, which is a whole bunch of Vanguard stuff, and... weird. It's like a magnet. Interesting. Where can I put this so it won't destroy anything? Here we go. All right. So that's done. So really quickly, I am going to... These need to dry. Those are pretty much painted and done. He's done. I have 10 Auric Boar Boys, like, done. And I'm just like, oh, why couldn't they just include that kit? That would have been so nice. Let me read the comments here. Omniphage, Unmade have my goals in a triple pun rather than double. Gold Bear, good day. Hello, hello. Let's see. Chris, thank you for joining us. Mercado. Working on Tomb Kings for a Warcry. Best of luck. Best of luck. Tattoos and their eyes. Obviously the bases as well, but trying to load them up with everything I can. And one thing that's interesting, and I'm kind of interested to see, And you know, this is just because we don't have the cards yet. As far as I know, none of the content creators got early access to the cards. But I'm very interested to see if they include things like the banner, right? If that has some kind of like area of effect, that'd be kind of fun, like a support dude. We know they're not. Rage Core Kevin, anyone know if you can take more than one Judgment of Corn in a meeting engagement? I have no idea, but I assume no, because I know there's the thing on Endless Spells, but I know they're different, but I don't know. That's not a format that was received very well. In terms of like people trying to figure out the rules. There's a lot of rule holes, so I don't know. Goldbear, are you pumped to play with Bonesplitters in Warcry? Absolutely. I hope they maintain the feel of being a Bonesplitter, just being wild and crazy. You know, one thing, you know, maybe someone in the chat can answer this, because I didn't watch any of the preview content from other content creators about the rulebook, like Ash from from Guerrilla Miniature Games has his. And are there bonuses for having more than one? So like, if I have one Stormcast guy and two Bonesplitters tag team and trying to beat him up, is there a bonus? Because, and the reason I ask, I would love it if there was, because that would give Grot something super fun. Like numerical advantage in combat would be really cool. Let me just grab my paints. So I need this. All right. So yeah. Oh, they mentioned champions exists. Okay, that's a start. Yeah, I mean, they did mention something about an astral compass. So like that's just that's an item on one of the Vanguard guys. So I don't know. Okay. Here we go. Grab my cloth for cleaning myself off. Okay. Gillian, have you tried running the Vanguard Auxiliary Chamber? I wish the points worked out to run long strikes instead of hurricanes. 2 shots was pretty fun. Yeah, nope, I haven't, unfortunately. I haven't really done anything with Vanguard Chamber stuff. It just, you know, I was painting up a whole bunch of Stormcast, and then I got kind of burnt out on like 2K armies in games. I don't know why. And that's why I kind of stopped and picked up the brush for Warhammer Underworld's been painting a ton of that. You can go see it on my Instagram, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. So let's see, I'll try to do this more in camera range here, but I'm just, for my tattoos, for my orcs, I like to do just very basic things like rings around the skin, that kind of stuff. Just stuff that it pops, but it's not, I don't want to spend like an hour on each dude. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Iron Golems have a banner, dude. Thank you. That's awesome. Oh yeah, Tristan. I kind of figured you were playing them as Legions of the Gash. I was just giving you some go fat, so. And you should. Okay. Let's see. Making bases for Gloom Spite. Pop. Burns, you kind of annoyed at the cards being all separate by faction. I think it makes perfect sense because I mean, I don't want to spend $50 for cards that I'm never going to use. But I get it. Let's see. I mean, they're $8, I think, like US. That's crazy good. I mean, especially for G dubs. This guy's gonna have a weird red stripe. Up his face, and so I like to keep it pretty simple when it comes to the tattoos. I'm not one of those like freehand people who can just like, oh look, I painted the Mona Lisa on this banner. You know what I mean? Have you seen those guys with the knights? Oh my god, it's ridiculous. So I tend to stick to really simple rings, maybe a zigzag here and there, something like that. Nice about orcs is they're supposed to be kind of, you know, it makes sense to be messy. They're kind of crazy. Let's see. I'm losing track. You guys are chatting away, and it's awesome. Oh, okay. So I'm following up to your comment there, Pup. Let's see. Should I shop ahead and buy up all the cards that I might play, or just wait until I have the kits in hand and ready to go? For me personally, if there's a faction you know you want to try because you just wanted to paint the models, get it. Like, why not? Something on my brush. So, for example, like me, I have no interest right now in playing Flesh Eater Courts as an army. Like, I mean, I'm so burnt out on painting large armies, and I would definitely want to do like infantry, heavy, that kind of stuff. But it's just, I can't do it right now. And so I'm looking at that being like, you know, I don't want to play Flesh Eater Courts. So I know that I will be buying those cards, for example. But you know, here's the thing. It's also, there's no rush, right? Like, what I don't feel any pressure to buy them. I mean, I'm going to buy them for the channel so that I can like talk about them intelligently, but as a consumer, just like an average Joe, don't worry about it unless you want them. Give them a ring on this arm. Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, I think that the two-player starter is probably eventually going to go away. And you know, because they did it with Kill Team, they did it with all the things. Once the game is like kind of out there and it's easier to onboard, the starter set goes away because it's a great deal with the terrain. So that's awesome. That's fine. But I don't think the cards will ever go away because that's how you get those armies and how you sell product, and that's all that matters. Let's see. I haven't seen any bonuses for flanking with more than one unit, but you can move within an inch while you attack. Okay, that's fine. I kind of wondered because like that would benefit something like Grotz immensely, that they could gang up. And this guy's going full Braveheart. Half his face is going to be painted red. And the terrain is so stinking good in that set, even though I'm hoping my set arrives Monday. There's a chance that it's just lost forever, because that's the nature of things. But regardless, tomorrow morning I'm gonna go put an order in for a set regardless. Just so I can get a bunch of terrain, because I am going to be doing a whole bunch of narrative battle reports. The reason I don't do a ton of them with AOS is, again, it requires a lot of time, a lot of armies, a lot of everything. But yeah. What's this guy gonna be? He's gonna have a bar across his eyes. Yeah, looks cool. I will. I'll take a ton of pictures of these guys, throw them up there. I actually have some really cool ideas as far as battle reports go that are unique, but I'm hoping to give you a real example rather than just talk about it. I know I should wait, but how available are the card runs going to be? How available are those card runs going to be? Seems like they're going to just be out for sale and then probably just supported forever. I'm pretty sure they're going to just put boxes and sets, kind of like the Kill Team set, where it's like an existing product line with something special in there, maybe the cards, that kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised. I have no confirmation of any of that, but I have no reason to think they're going to go away.
Winds southerly at about 15, gusts to 25 miles an hour. Barometric pressure 30.00 and is rising. And no precipitation. We're about a half inch behind, correction, half inch ahead for the year, and 1 and 5300ths behind for the year so far.
Warcom article mentions skeleton champions and seneschals, which is their champion unit, I think. Yes. Yep, that's the seneschal. That is hard for me to say. Terrain looks like a nice starter set, so yeah. Hey, more money would be nice. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, I run Skaven Tide Army. Are Plague Monks valid even if they aren't a dedicated Pestilence army? Are you asking, are they good in a well, they are valid in the sense of they're just not battle lines, so you can take them. But if you're asking, are they good? They are great. I took when I was doing Skaven stuff, I took a Grand Alliance Chaos because I didn't have enough clan rats to be Skaven Tide, and I didn't have enough pestilence stuff to be pestilence, just straight pestilence or like that. So I took 2 blocks of 20 clan rats and then a big block of 40 plague monks. And those guys put in so much stinking work. It was absurd. I like them quite a bit. They're little blunders, They're going to take a lot of hits. You're going to lose a lot of dudes. You're going to spend, as long as you enjoy the physical act of moving models, you will enjoy playing them. But you bought you bought it for the Screaming Bell. Yeah, it's totally, they're good. They're real good. Trying to look up. I'm gonna look up real quick some Bonesplitter tattoos. War paint. Okay, there's some cool ideas. Okay. Let's see. W. Soren. Some of the stories for the possible warbands just don't make sense to me, but I do like the opportunity to play my Daughters of Cain. Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting. So, like, so kind of like with Kill Team, right? That's kind of I think the closest relation where you have existing large armies like Bonesplitters and Stormcast and that kind of stuff. But you're like, how come this army wants to engage on something so tiny, right? Small scale, where there's just like 9 dudes punching each other in the face. And so I think when you start leaning into like creating narrative reasons as to why these armies are clashing, you know, when you do your own, I think that'll be far more interesting, if I'm honest with you, than what they've written for them. Yeah, I don't know why. So, like, for example, like with Daughters of Cain, you know, Marathi sends them out to collect blood, shed blood, recover our relics and artifacts, all that kind of stuff all the time. It's like, this could very easily just be, we're doing that right now. And obviously that would get old across many games, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool stuff there, though. Okay. I'm sorry I have this pulled so close to me. I have to be able to get in there and do that highly detailed stuff. Trying to do little swirly doos and that kind of stuff. The Ogre Breacher is surprisingly small. Poor guy, he isn't getting the healthy diet. Yeah, he doesn't look too chunky for an ogre. Malnutrition is a real thing. Okay, thank you for answering about the plague monks. Yeah, they're great. They're great in big numbers. They're going to die in droves. But if they land into something, that thing, you know, they went toe to toe with the Lord of Change for a few rounds, took him out. That was a really fun game. But yeah, good stuff. Okay, what I got? Just blew through a bunch of Bonesplitters using contrast. These are all orc skin contrast with one really light layer of war boss on some of the higher areas, war boss green, and it just makes them extra good. Let's see. I take a look at eBay. Wouldn't surprise me if there are going to be a lot of split sets for sure. Orcs are my favorite. Well, awesome Waterworld. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Warcry has been at my local for a bit. Ogre surprised me with how small, and the Doom turkeys look more imposing than I expected. I call them corn turkeys because they have the little gill. But yes, Doom turkeys, I suppose, is also fine. I will allow it. Although someone did tell me I ruined that model for them because they can't get Doom Turkey out of their mind now. Or Corn Turkey. Oh, you got me all turned around. And this guy painted up his maw. I wish that I gotta figure out a way to kit bash this together, but my favorite thing about orcs in 40k, without question, is the power claw. So I gotta find a way to use these little bamboo and bone bits to make a power claw. It shouldn't be too terribly hard, but yeah, I gotta make that happen. Okay, one more. Do you see that Fjordhammer Alex is planning on making some custom dungeon crawler scenarios for Warcry? That sounds fun. I'm sure. I mean, Wargaming's got kind of stuff too. They love the anything that's RPG-esque. That is their jam. For me, I got my own secrets to keep. I got my own jam. No, I have a few ideas for narrative battle reports. Something I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try and make a blank template for people to create their own characters and monsters and that kind of thing. And the reason is I want to be able to take creatures and monsters of an appropriate size from AOS and bring them into the game. So for example, I want to fight a Korgorath. Because I like the Korgorath. I don't think he gets enough use. So having a mission where like my team has to outwit, outmatch, and survive a Korgorath on a rampage because they weren't paying homage to Khorne. And instead we're trying to praise or seek the favor of Archaon rather than him. I think that would be pretty darn cool. Let's see, bird skull, wrist guard plus knife, power claw-ish maybe. Bird skull, wrist guard. Yeah, you know, if you've ever seen the hand shields for the basic Savage Orc, it's just like a bunch of bamboo bits kind of looking thing. I think that if I put a few of them and sawed the hand that was on the inside of those off and stacked them, they could make a box. And I could just replace someone's arm with that box and then put bone fragment shards and stuff like that on the outside, and that would make a claw. So that would take a bit of time, but certainly I'm going to be grabbing another box of Savage Orcs because I'm building that as an army slowly, but also because I want Arrow Boys and stuff like that for Warcry. So these guys they're almost done. That feels good. Let me ask you this. Chat's going to vote, and I'm going to make it happen. What color should I make the snake on this banner? The whole banner's painted. I just need to get the snake done. What color should the snake be on the Savage Orc banner? I'm going to make sure I'm holding it up right. Here we go. Camera won't focus because there's too much light, but yeah. What do y'all think? So I'll give you all a second to think about that. I mean, I have pretty much every color. The only thing I don't want to do is black. That's the only color I don't want to do. Just because I don't think it would pop. He's kind of sitting on a rock thing. And so the black wouldn't pop off of that. Green. You think green? I mean, there's so much green on him. Purple, yellow, and black. Get some purple up in there. Purple. Purple with yellow spots. And black in the middler of the yellow. I'll let you guys duke it out. Let's see. So here is... Let's see. Yeah, okay, so for the rest of these guys, all I need to do is, besides the snake, I need to highlight the tattoos with a brighter red, and then do the weapons to make them match that kind of heated let's see. Purple, everything should be Apocalypse White. Purple is a triadic color of your orange. I don't have an orange. I have red and green. I'm confused. I don't know what triadic means. So you vote purple. Okay, purple. I understand that part. Let's do it. Let's make us a purple snake. Actually, I'm going to experiment on this guy. So I'm going to do a little test because I've always wanted to try it. So if not, if we don't like it, we can always repaint him. But I'm going to do Slanesh Gray, which is a purple-esque thing. And I'm going to give it a wash of Magos Purple with, not a wash, use the contrast paint on it. I've done contrast paint over color before, and it has some interesting results. Some of them I really like. Some of them I was like, didn't pan out the way I expected it to. Anyway. Seems like a reasonable time to test things out. Very interested in this. Yeah. If you never tried it, so I did I've done Kellyan green over blue, and that was a fun one. What else have I done? I did the yellow over stuff, but the yellow is extremely strong. And even the darker one, the Nazdrag yellow, it's just such a potent pigment that it's just like, I didn't quite like the way it panned out, so. Venlin? Warcry hype? Just got here, what'd you miss? Nothing, just been chatting about what my plans are. So I have the set coming in the mail hopefully on Monday, and then from GW, I'm grateful that they sent that out to me. So I'm kind of prepping everything I have that surrounds that product, right? So I got Stormcast over here. This is a bunch of Vanguard Hunters and 6 Gryph-hounds, and then just a whole mess of Savage Orc goodness from Bonesplitters. So yeah. Waiting for the snake to dry so we can put on some Magos Purple, which Magos Purple, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best contrast paint. This is my favorite one because nothing is like, in terms of like doing fun transitions, I love purple and pink as like pop colors. You know, if you see my Stormcast, all the leaders have like some kind of magic exuding them. Carl freaking Franz, there are Iron Jaws in Warcry. So anyway, with this Magos Purple, if you thin this down just a smidge, and then put it over just solid white or gracier, it doesn't matter. But it's the easiest color because of the amount of pigment in there to build up cool transitions. I love it. It's the best. Speeds up my process quite a bit. For Iron Jaws, there are Ardboys and Brutes. And Brutes are perfect because there's so many cool weapon options in that one. My favorite's the boss with the crab claw, which I didn't understand that weapon until I saw the model where he's like wearing an arm guard with a hook at the it kind of comes out to a hook, and then he's just holding a dagger that bends up, and so by moving his wrist, it's like a as like that. It's just drying off here. Depending on how many are, however, the armies can be built, I'll make Daughters of Cain's Snake Lady Gang. Yeah, I mean that's the thing where it's like it has me looking at model kits that I never thought I was going to buy. I would have never bought Daughters of Cain stuff. I just don't. That's not an army that interests me. Like, I like the idea of them, but I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy a horde army where every 10 models is $60. No thanks. See, I'm pretty excited for Stormcast Channel Doggo Squad. Yeah, I was surprised. So, of course, I just, like, last weekend gave my Ether Wings to Jack for his tournament list. So, I gotta go pick up some more of those. But that's okay, because I wanted to grab a thing of, what are they, Raptors that come with the Ether Wings, because I wanted to build the crossbow version, so I have all the options for guns. That's fine. But, if I lose because I don't have Ether Wings, I'm 100% blaming Jack. Alright, let's try some Magos Purple. So with contrast, I always find it's better to wait until it dries to really judge how it looks, if you like it or not. But what I can tell you is just from the hot second that the contrast has been on, it did pick out the very, very weak detail that is the snake's pattern. So even if I wanted to repaint it, it'd at least be easier to do so. That's a good thing. Okay. Let me see. A little too much pulled up near the head. Okay. I like it. $10 models of all the Stormcast Battleline are $60. It's true, but they're not a horde army. It's different when you need big old blocks of Daughters. But I know what you mean. The price point doesn't bother me. The quantity required does. Let's see. I used Daughters of Cain Whip for Corn Bloodstoker conversion because I don't like the base model. There. I use Sisters of Slaughter whips for the riders on my Slash chariots. Ooh, that sounds good. I like their whips. Yeah, because they do look a little different. Sweet. I think that snake's gonna turn out looking good. What warbands are you hyped for? As far as the existing armies getting them, things that interest me are obviously the things I already have. Bonesplitters in a smaller context that doesn't require 100 models is awesome. Stormcast using my Vanguard stuff without having to wait until I have like a full Vanguard army. Real nice. As far as the stuff that like I don't currently own, from the existing armies, I'm very excited for. I'm going to pick up some more Iron Jaws. I mean, I sold off my army to Jack, but I have anything that exists in Shadespire. I want to play, if it's playable, in Warcry. And the reason is because you get stuff like this, and I showed it off earlier, but like this is the Far Strider's leader. I actually cut his head off and put a Forge World Stormcast head on there. But like the Shadespire kits are analogous to existing model kits. So for example, there's the Skeleton Warrior kit, and then you can buy the Sepulchral Guard kit from Shadespire, right? They're both skeletons, but the Shadespire ones all have very unique poses and they look great. And that one guy has a huge double-handed scythe coming down. So I think any warband that I can buy Shadespire stuff for, paint it up in a day, like I did the Tzeentch warband in 2.5 hours, start to finish, and then play it in something else, I'm pumped. So that would include everything you see here. What are there? What are the factions that cross over? Iron Jaws. The leader for the Iron Jaws is just, he looks amazing. If you haven't seen that kit from Shadespire, let's take a look. So yeah, anyway, to answer your question, any of those factions that cross over there, as well as the bird guys, the bird boys, the Corvus Cabal is, here, I'll share a screen with you guys so you can look at something a little more interesting. What I am doing is going to look at all the crap from Warhammer Underworlds and looking for unique sculpts. So we'll click that. Fire Slayers aren't in there. These guys are cool. Oh yeah, it's 4. I count 4. But yeah, look at these. Some of these skeleton horde kits. Make sure. They just look absolutely terrific, and I'll blow it up here. But they just look so much more interesting. Oh, I didn't realize that guy's head was caved in. That's legit. So this is, yeah, from the Sepulchral Guard set, and this comes with 7. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how big these warbands are going to be, but 7's a great number for some of these things. Very, again, dynamic poses. This guy looks like he just did a swing with the sword, or he's just coming at you. This is the guy I was talking about. This guy's my favorite. He's actually my favorite in Warhammer Underworlds 2. I played against Sepulchral Guard my first game back, and like this guy is just a wrecking ball, Miley Cyrus style. What's up with this guy? Oh, he's half of him. That's neat. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's the whole squad. That's actually kind of the picture I was looking for. So, yeah, I got... Those are all usable. If you're ever wondering how I find my pictures of models for my videos, that's how I do it, too. Those guys are usable. And if you don't know, this leader guy, Iron Skull, his cape is beautiful. Like, they're just well-made models. Now this is actually a huge kit, isn't it? 9 dudes. What do you get? So, Gloomspite Gits are a playable faction. So you got a Netter, what looks like a herder, Fanatic, 3 Bowmen, and a Loonbot. I mean, yeah, this is a no-brainer. And here's the Far Striders. You have to look like without the head swap that I did. So, but I mean, they're great. And so that's 4 armies you can use. So I don't know. Any of those, I'm all about them. 110%. Sorry, that was a little side tangent that I went on. Oh, and Night Haunt. That's right. Thank you, Omniphage. Yes, I forgot Night Haunt come in the Night Vault particular starter set. So yeah. Give me just a moment here. I'm catching up on the chat because I had it to full screen, so I couldn't see what y'all were saying. Spoopy Ghosts, yes, you are correct. Night Haunt is one that I forgot. And those ones have amazing sculpts. The Briar Queen set just look great. A unit of Brutes along with Grim Skull's Boys is probably enough for an Ironjaw's group. Yeah, most likely. Like, I'm sure all I would need to do is go buy a box of Brutes and I would probably be set. Let's see. Got my Ironjaws and Bonesplitters are ready to go. Sweet, Carl France. Any tips on how to take down Fire Slayers with Stormcast? Apply shooting to heroes. That's all I got. I haven't actually played a full 2K game in quite a while. I need to find out if Warcry has a thing like Kill Team where this one can be a scout or this one's a medic or something like that for conversion purposes. My understanding is yes, but I'm not sure to the extent, like if it's a narrative thing, if it's a full game thing, how that all works. So, let's see. My buddy's pretty stoked to be able to play Flesh Eater Courts in Warcry. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Sweet. Okay, I'm all caught up. Good chat, y'all. This is good. Now, there's one more thing I'm going to test. So, basically, I threw down some Mephiston Red for all the tattoos, but it buries, like there's no detail to it. And so I grabbed my Blood Angels Red contrast paint, and now I want to see, will this productively add shadow? Like, do I need to go through with a recess shade, or can I just do this over things and it'll just work? And so far, so good. If you ever wanted to just play around with contrast, apparently this is the episode for you. I'm doing all kinds of weird stuff. Oh yeah, it's really picking out the details, so that'll be nice because then I'll go back over with what is it? Evil Sun Scarlet is a good highlight. But yeah. So yeah, I'm very excited about all the modeling opportunities. I think that'll definitely be good choice for alternate sculpts as the Underworld sets. Which is funny, I bet there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are like, oh man, I never really looked at those. And you're just like, yeah, dude, they've been on sale for like a year. And more than that, I mean, Warcry's been out for a little while. Not Warcry, Shadespire. Also, it is not often that I pat myself on the back, but this is looking good. Baller, some would say. Okay, let's see. I really hope Warcry is balanced. Well, it depends on what you mean. I find that dice and miniatures games inherently aren't, but your expectations may vary. I hope it's fun. And fun does not require balance. I do, one thing I will say about on the topic of balance is I found it to be awfully bold of them to to print the point costs of each unit directly onto their card, because that'll make it be a bigger pain in the butt later on if it comes down to needing to make adjustments. I was like, I also like to live dangerously, GW. That's one of the things I know they've said about power level in 40k, where they're like, oh yeah, in our Infinite Wisdom we printed the points directly onto the card, making it a huge issue to try and rebalance. I was like, who thought of that one? But then again, it's a little bit different because they started off with a whole new system from scratch, so maybe they can rebalance that kind of stuff. So I saw Duncan's tutorial on painting iron golems. I had no clue that red was Flesh Tear's red contrast over Balthazar gold. Yeah, dude. You can do some real cool stuff when you use contrast on metallics. I was not a super believer until I saw a guy at a local store do. He did Nazdreg yellow over silver, and the kind of gold that it made was really, really cool looking. Because I mean, people have talked about like doing that, like, oh, we'll just prime your models, X color, whatever color they're trying to get you to try, and then do contrast over that. But most of the time, like, no, I kind of like the gray seer thing more. But if you have any kind of metallic army, so like word bearers are the first ones that come to mind. They use a kind of metallic-y red in 40k. Like, oh, it looks so good. Let's see. Also got Nagash today. Haven't opened them up yet. Well, congrats. Sweet. Man, I'm excited about this is coming out. Hey, Doug. Hello, Chris. Let's see. They'll pull a twist and they'll death faction the elves. Or, yeah, maybe we got fun. We spoopy boys don't have cool models for Warcry. Spoopy boys, you're talking about Nighthaunt? Nighthaunt has terrific models. What are you talking about? Take that stuff away. Leave those opinions out. I'm just kidding. What do you got? You got, let me see. Let me go to the official Warcry website. I'm going to look and see what units they have because I'm very curious. Warbands. Death. Chain Rasp, Grimgrass Reaper, Spirit Host, and Grave Wraith Stalker. You know what I hope? I hope they give the Grave Wraith Stalker a good home. More than anything. He needs a purpose. Even if just like, he's our fast ghost, right? If that's all he has to be, in the game that I'm assuming uses objectives and that kind of stuff. Just like, he is the fast one, but he's got this cool staff thing that he wields as a weapon. Like, it's all he needs to be. We don't ask anything else of him. Who's that? That's Terry. He's the fast one, and that's it. Because he don't do anything for your faction in the proper game. Oh yeah, little highlight, looking good. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am unreasonably excited about Bonesplitters in Warcry. Let's see. What do you think Death Rattle has? Why do you think Death Rattle only has the only HQ option? I don't know. Yeah, they are very unique in that. So if you don't know what we're talking about, so like the Legions of Nagash one, actually I'll share it. We can just hang out and talk about these warbands. But the Legions of Nagash one, it's a Necromancer, Graveguard, and Skeleton Warriors. That's a very interesting choice given all the things that are available to Legions of Nagash. It's like a 41 War Scroll book. So I do find it very interesting that those were the choices. Obviously, a very high emphasis on skeletons, if you will. From the Graveyard of Misspelled Words. If anyone gets that reference, you get 10 points for the night. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is they're the most, like any death player is going to have skeletons. So maybe they were like, oh, what's a kit that we can get on people's good side for not making them have to rebuy an entire thing? I don't know. It is a unique one. I mean, I'm more interested in the fact that what's not there, right? The lack of anything else. I think it's cool to have a warband that's very singular hero centric. You know, where the rest of these warbands are looking for, like, the warband as a whole is fighting for glory or whatever they want, or whatever their goal is. But this, because the skeletons in theory don't have a whole lot of autonomy, it's thematically based around one person's mission, which I think is cool and very unique. So, yeah, I don't know. But why they got the only one, especially, well, I'm kind of glad they got that particular choice because he is sort of a weaker one. I don't love the model. Just the old man head I don't like, but whatever. Let me pull up my chat here. Let's see. What's HQ? He means headquarters, like a leader. This is the only hero model that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, proxy a White King as a necromancer. Yeah, that's a great idea. Birdman. Yes, I do intend to do an entire battle report with the Corvus Cabal, but I'm going to talk like a bird person from Rick and Morty the entire time. At some point, that's going to happen. Oh, he's a free guild wizard. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's no shortage of great wizard models. I mean, and it's cool as the faction is only 3 different kinds of units, so there's no like, oh, I couldn't tell what model that is, so you're obviously modeling for advantage. Like, no, it's whatever stands out from the skeletons. I'm going to rock a Mistweaver Psi conversion. Ooh. Let's see. Let's minimize that. Yeah, oops. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these things. I'm going to skip the new factions because we don't know anything about them, and that's just very exciting. And I don't want to speculate wildly. I don't do that. So, Bonesplitters, we have the Big Stabba, which I think is the MVP. It's certainly the MVP of the existing Battle Tome. Not necessarily in terms of battlefield effectiveness, although there's good arguments for that. I just mean in terms of 2 guys screaming and ramming at you with a giant shiv, basically, is a winning idea for a weapon. The other stuff here, you know, Arrow Boys, I'm sure they can be incredibly inaccurate, wildly so. And then I'm thinking, I mean, if they go with how things are in the book, the Savage Orc will be a little more defensive. There's the bone shield that I was talking about earlier, where I can take a bunch of them and make a crude power claw, and then of course the Moor Boys, of which I have many of them. So right now I have near infinite Moor Boys and 4 Big Stabbas to play around with. Yeah. So then Iron Jaws, we got Brutes and Ardvoids, pretty straightforward. Let's see. Taps over on Twitch says, why Warcry is for Chaos, but everyone's favorite Chaos faction, Skaven, aren't invited. I don't know. I'm assuming this is going to kind of act as Wave 1 and we'll get more reinforcements later. Because if they find it's good at selling models, you better believe they'll start pushing it. And then for Gloomspite, we have all their basic dudes. So we have Squig Hoppa, Boingot Bounder, the basic Cave Squig, which is fun. Stabba, Shoota, which I think these two are from the same kit, and then the Squig Critter. So, yeah, if you grab, what is it, what's the name of the kit? Anyway, the Shadespire Warband for Gloomspite gets, you'll get 3 Shootas, a Squig Herder, 2 Squigs, and some other stuff that you can convert to make it whatever you want it to be. So that's a stellar deal for the Gloomspite. That's, depending on the points and how many you need, that might be the cheapest way to get in. Right now, I think the most efficient is Bonesplitters, where all 4 of these units come from the same kit. So for $50, you get enough to buy multiples of just about everything. So that's fun. Flesh Eater Cords. You have Crypt Flares, Crypt Horrors, and Crypt Ghouls. All of the crypts. They could have just called them Flare Horror Ghoul. Whatever. I think, I don't know. You know what the most interesting thing is when I'm knowing the rule previews that we have now? Daydreaming about the abilities that these factions can have, I think, is the most fun. Like, obviously, they've already said one of the abilities for Necromancer, for the Legion of Nagash, is going to be resurrecting dead guys. And that's huge. But it just makes me so excited for what abilities they're all going to have. You know what I mean? I assume the Stormcast will have some kind of defensive thing, like stand your ground, that kind of thing. Because, they train with shield walls and that kind of stuff. Let's see. There's a lot of options for Daughters of Cain. Oh yeah, I forgot these are all multi-kits. Everything's a multi-kit. Just about. All the Canary. Oh yeah, this is definitely happening. Mainly because I want an excuse. I mentioned before that I like models that are in motion. The Canary stuff is just great looking. So very excited. I'm the least excited for... Here's the problem. I like the Deepkin models. I actually just sold some Deepkin on eBay, and I kind of wish... A twinge in me says I wish I had held on to them just for this. I didn't know they were going to be a part of the game. But I don't... It's the eels that I'm not a fan of in this game. And here's why I say that, okay? The reason I don't want eels in the game has nothing to do with how good they are in Age of Sigmar. This is a completely different game, totally new cards. Like, the system is different. They're just models. The fact that there are eels in this game, but there aren't Savage Boar Boys. I'm like, no, we should have... If they can have cavalry, we can have cavalry, right? If we can have 4 different kinds of orc boy who's naked, one of them can be tied to a boar. To a giant pig. Anyway, that's all. Rant over. Also, there's a... Was it in Forbidden Power, the story? They specifically say that the eels don't like to fight in close quarters. Like, they like the big open courtyards. They can charge. So it makes it funny that they put them into a skirmish game where it's all tight corridors. That's all. End rant. So yeah, a whole lot of options. And the chaos stuff is certainly interesting. I mean, I can't imagine that there's not going to be a release where it's the devoted chaos factions, which would include Skaven for the Great Horned Rat. You know what I mean? Because then there's no reason you wouldn't have Kyric Acolytes, right? That would look great, and they would give everyone a good reason to go buy some. Corn stuff, I mean, pick your flavor of corn stuff. They all look fantastic. To be honest, I love the corn models. What else? For Nurgle Blight Lords would be cool. And Slanesh. Unfortunately, they don't have any mortal stuff. That's a real bummer. It just occurred to me. So that wouldn't really pan out. But yeah. That'd be interesting. So that's my quick hot take on the existing stuff. Again, I'm more excited about what the abilities could be. I think that's a lot of where the flavor for the factions is going to come from. Yeah, I don't know. So my plan, I'm just going to wrap this video up here because I kind of got most of the painting I wanted to do done. And I got these guys built. Basically my plan, actually I'll go to my from here, is wait for the set to come in and be working, probably do another hobby progress video this weekend, working hard to get all the terrain and everything ready. And then that way when the game launches, I can quickly build stuff. Hopefully I'll have my cards, like the pre-order won't get delayed at all. So I'll at least be able to play Stormcast versus Bonesplitters, if nothing else. Or if I can't build anything else, I can do that. And I'm very excited about every bit of it. So go ahead and leave a comment down below what you're excited about. And thank you all for hanging out with me while I did some hobby hanging. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Possibly again this weekend. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you. Happy wargaming.